So welcome everyone to our Monday meetup with the Kinesiologist group here on Monday, April 26th. I'm Angela Pereira of First Line Education. We're a continuing education company that helps to upskill kinesiologists anywhere from the last couple of years of university up until the first few years of practice. And I have with me here this evening Betty Ann Schnurr, who's a longtime friend and colleague of mine, who works in office and industrial ergonomics. And Betty Ann is joining us tonight to talk about her two different businesses. One is Ability at Work, and the other one is ErgoEquip or Equip.
Yeah.
I could throw the French spin on it, but I won't do that. That would be not good. So what we'll do is, Betty Ann, if you just want to say a few words about yourself, we'll come back to you for sure. We're going to keep you talking for sure all hours, or for the entire hour, but we'll go through and have introductions of everyone else here as well. So welcome.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't know how much you want me to get into right now, just brief, I guess.
Yeah, just a brief overview of where you are in the province and
Okay.
a little bit about what your day-to-day looks like.
Okay, I'm in Kitchener, and I've been working in kinesiology for about 22 years, I guess. And I used to be very involved with the OKA, and I was a regional group chairperson for 10 years from 2005 to 2015. Yay. And had Angela come and speak to our regional group at least a couple times about running your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something else probably over the years.
We did a shoulder assessment evening.
Yeah.
Upper
Yeah,
body assessment day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I've taken a couple of Angela's courses, the upper body and the lower body, and that was a long time ago. I couldn't believe that you started in 2007. I thought it was longer than that, but yeah. So I would have been, I probably took them in your first, like maybe second year of teaching the courses at least.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of different, like I worked in a lot of different scopes in kinesiology. Angela listed them all in the bio that I gave her, and I can talk more about that after. And currently, I am doing mostly subcontract work. I have a few clients that I do work for off and on, just very occasional. And in the last year, well, I started my product business selling products in 2014, and it was always on the side. But in the last year, when all of the consulting came to an abrupt end, I started to work on the product business, and I hired a couple of co-op students in the summer last year, and we revamped the website. And I also enlisted the services of a marketing company. And so the sales and the profit business have increased by 10 times what they were at this time last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So it's been a steady growth. Yeah, but it's also very challenging. So I'll speak more about that after if you want to know.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Hi, Elise, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I have been working as a kinesiologist for about 13 years now.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I've worked in various different settings, and everything from a physio clinic to gyms to most of the work that I did though was in people's private homes. And I also went back to school after my undergrad to get my master's degree. Now I was working with people in their homes, and I've decided since, the increase in COVID and things since the fall, I've been only doing virtual treatments with my clients. So I've been seeing only clients online for the time being. And it's going well. The clients that are doing it are enjoying it, and we can get a lot done online. I think they were surprised. Some of them, it caught them off guard by how successful it was online. So it's good.
Yeah, it's been fun actually to help clients migrate online. They're only challenged for a session or two usually. They catch on pretty quickly. That's great. Emma, hello.
Hello, my name's Emma. I graduated from kinesiology in 2018 from the Guelph University, and I just decided during the summer that I wanted to write my RCAN exam. So now I'm just waiting until it's live again.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a lot of people in that boat. They're just waiting to write. So we're hopeful that goes back into place before the September writing. So we'll see how that goes.
Did they never incorporate an online exam?
No, not yet. No. Mhm.
Okay.
Darcy, hello in PEI.
Hi. I wanted to connect with Batty Ann. I don't know if you've met before, so I saw that you were doing the talk today, and I was like, "Oh gosh, golly, someone in ergonomics." I know. I'm out of the loop. I'm in ergonomics too.
Okay.
And I was on the session last week with Kevin, and we've connected since then. It's just really nice to connect with other people who are in ergonomics
In this space.
stream.
I'm going to have to think about more people I can connect you with. There's no shortage of people
Can
working
you?
in ergonomics and health and safety that I could send your way, Darcy.
Yay! I love it.
Sure.
I would appreciate that. But I had so much fun last session. But anyway, I run an online company. I used to do some consulting. We just moved out here a year and a half ago from Ontario. So I don't do much consulting because I'm with my kids during the day, but I have an online company and I teach other healthcare professionals how to get into ergonomics, mostly how to market their services.
Nice.
Okay.
And Catherine.
So hi, I graduated about a year ago from Western kinesiology, and I wrote my exam in September. I guess I just snuck in before they all started getting canceled, which was good. And then I got a job here in Sarnia where I live at a little physiotherapy clinic. So I work as an RCAN/receptionist, and I mostly help out with the GLAD program for osteoarthritis. So yeah.
Nice.
And I also teach some virtual exercise programs for Connected Chain in Toronto.
Oh, fantastic. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Very good.
Okay.
So Catherine's landed on her feet very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has been great. Yeah. You've done really well because I watched you go through the RCAN prep course and get ready and write, and then all of a sudden, poof, here you are, colleague. So very exciting.
Yeah. Angela's course was very helpful, so that was great.
Thank you.
So you're close to me then, Catherine, in Waterloo?
Yeah, we're pretty close, around 2 hours then. That's good. Yeah.
So open chat, we've got a lot to talk about. What are some of the questions? Maybe I'll throw it back to the group to say, what would you like to hear Betty talk about? Because Betty Ann's experience is really massive. So if there's an area of questions that you have, maybe we could start there. And then I know Betty Ann had some things that she also wanted to discuss about her journey with her businesses as well, that I think would be helpful too.
Yeah. I also have some ideas and I wanted to bounce them off you because you also are teaching courses and yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and with Darcy here too, that would be great. A great discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I'll ask a question. How did COVID affect you, Betty Ann? What kind of changes did you have to make to your businesses?
Well, like I said, the consulting. So I was, I'll backtrack a little bit. So from 2015 to 2019, as I said in the bio, I had developed a roster of kinesiologists and OTs, and we were providing services for 4 rehab companies that had the contract with WSIB for their assessments. So all return to work assessments and job coaching. And when I started, it was one company that asked me to do this. And then since I knew the other companies that had the contract, then I offered my roster to do work for their companies as well. And I had to hire a full-time, almost full-time admin person to help with all the scheduling and bookkeeping. And at the same time, I was running the product business, and they were both sole proprietorships. So they're both the same company, essentially, even though I had two different business names. And so the person, my admin person, was working for both companies. And when we were working in person in the same office, it worked out really well because the communication was a lot easier. And you know, anything that was going on, we could easily tell each other right away what's going on. And I always knew what she was working on. And I could be writing my report and she would be taking orders and scheduling people and sending out invoices and receiving payments and, you know, doing all kinds of multitasking. And so I had this young girl who had a business diploma from Conestoga for a couple of years, a year and a half maybe. And she was so good. And then I'd seen this job posting with WSIB for customer service rep, and it was supposed to be casual. And because she was just working for me for about 30 hours a week, I said to her, you know, you should apply for this because it's just casual. Well, she got the job, and then she ended up getting a permanent full-time job in the end. And then she couldn't work for me anymore. So then my sister-in-law stepped in, and she was great, but that wasn't a permanent plan for her to be working for me. And so in 8 months, we tried out 4 different people. And yeah, and at the same time, well, my sister-in-law is very good financially. So she did some number crunching and said, you know, this subcontract of a subcontract, and then having to pay like OTs more than the kins. And then there were a lot more referrals coming for job coaching than there ever were before. And it was very hard to get OTs to do job coaching. And we needed, we needed OTs because they were doing the cognitive job coaching. And there were increasing referrals for cognitive job coaching because of, you know, the new standards for mental health, and then even like acquired brain injury, people returning to work with that. And I think that the WSIB return to work specialists were starting to do more of the assessments themselves for job suitability, and then just referring for job coaching. So it just got to be so stressful because I could never find an OT in Ottawa, for instance, you know, who could do job coaching. And then I would find somebody, and then they wouldn't follow through with submitting their reports on time. And then everything was falling on me. And, you know, and I was editing their reports for the one company, like we provided full service for the one company. So in 2019, in the summer, I informed that company that I wasn't going to do this anymore because it was just way too much administrative work. And we figured out, you know, that I was not even earning anything hardly myself by the time I paid all the consultants and paid my admin person. Like I might have earned about $10,000 in the year from working 20 hours a week on this. So and it was holding me back from going out and doing a lot of the work myself. So I stopped, and then that was August 2019. And then I went for the fall and the first part of the winter working on my own, and I didn't have an admin person at all. So yeah, but everything hit at once with COVID, like my family life too. So my son in Toronto had twins in January. So I was there a lot helping them. And then I was trying to do assessments and write my reports when I was helping them with their twins, and you know, I was the night shift and staying up with these babies.
Elise
And
knows nothing
so
about this at all.
that was January, February. Are you familiar with twins, Elise?
I have, yes, I have twin girls. They're 3 years old now, and I can totally understand.
Yeah.
It's
So
such
you
a struggle,
totally
right?
can, yeah.
It's such a juggle.
I also have a set of
juggle.
twins. Sorry.
You?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my gosh.
Oh, that's
Something in
awesome.
the kin water. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 sets of twin grandchildren. I have twin
Wow.
granddaughters in Calgary, and then my son, who's my second. So that was my oldest daughter, and then my son, who's second, had the twins, twin boys in Toronto.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I came back from helping them, like in February, like I was coming and going, but then my dad had been having some health problems. And so he went into the hospital just before COVID started.
Oh, wow.
And we were planning a 100th birthday party for him. And people were coming from all over the world, like 11 different flights, I guess, and then other people from here. And so he went in the hospital on March the 12th or something. It was the day before March break started. And then on the Friday that March break was supposed to start, and we knew that everything was erupting and people were canceling flights and everything, then that was the day after he went in the hospital. Then we just called off the party and everybody canceled their flights, and
Wow.
he ended up being in the hospital for 2 weeks. He turned 100 while he was in the hospital.
Oh, no.
That was the first day that they only allowed 1 visitor at a time, but I talked them into letting my mom and I go in together with the cake.
Oh, no.
And then, so, and the second week we couldn't even see him. So, you know, it was really stressful. And I knew that, you know, my work was all kind of slowing down at the same time. So everything worked out well that way. Like my son lost all of his work, so he was able to stay home with the babies, and you know, his wife had a lot of medical complications off and on, and so my son was doing most of the work with the babies. And then I stayed with my dad and my mom after he came home from the hospital for a couple of weeks, and then I hired a caregiver. So like my work being self-employed has always been really kind of intertwined with my personal life, which isn't the best thing, but that's what happens. And
I think
so
you've
then,
done really, really well, actually. I think that one of the benefits of being self-employed is it supported you the flexibility in a way, if you look at it that way, that you've been available for your kids and your parents as well.
yeah, but on the other hand, I'm always working.
Yes, I know nothing
Yeah.
about that.
No. So, yeah, so then I realized all the other kins and ergonomists were going to jump on the virtual assessment bandwagon for ergonomics, and all of my WSIB work was canceled. And so I started watching some online webinars on e-commerce. So I already had a website, and then this marketing company approached me, and I decided to take their offer. It's expensive, but it has actually been probably the main thing that has increased the success of my website, as well as improving the website itself, because just the marketing company would have been useless because the website was, you know, not very good to begin with. So, but like all of the changes came from my ideas. Like I had to tell the students exactly what to do. And the opportunity to hire the students came up. The university approached me because there was the funding available for COVID. Well, even before that, I think.
Interesting.
So like 70% if you hire a first-year student or a woman in STEM
Mm-hmm.
or like from a minority group.
Mhm.
And so then I hired 2 girls that were in management engineering and just finished their first year. And so they made all of the changes to the website. And, you know, like students in management engineering, they take on projects and, you know, they know how to do strategic planning and organize projects and everything. So
I've never heard
the
of
way that
management
they approached
engineering
it,
as a
pardon? No,
discipline. No.
no, yeah. I wouldn't hire a kinesiology student because, you know, basically I needed to hire a student who would have the skills that I needed.
Sure,
Right.
of course.
Yeah. And so they did a great job. They made all the changes and then they started making a new website. And then, because my website with the products was built on Ability at Work, which is my consulting company.
So I'm noticing
And
that I'm on your
yeah,
website now, and it looks like that your Ability at Work website does feature the ergonomics products as well as the different services that you provide. It's kind of a combination of the two.
yeah. And that was a bit of a mistake that I let a marketing company about 5 years ago combine the 2 websites because
you
I
think it was
used
a
to have
mistake?
them separate. Pardon?
Do you think it was a
Yeah,
mistake to have them together? And why do you think that?
yeah. Because I could never sell ErgoEquip then if it's all built on Ability at Work's website.
Oh, I see. You were thinking about the option of spinning off the ErgoEquip company
Yeah,
separate from the Ability at Work. I see.
yeah.
Okay.
And
So it
so
would make sense
now,
to then have them separate as opposed to putting them together and being able to sell one that did kind of soup to nuts, do you think?
you mean like that the marketing company thought it was a good idea to combine them for that reason?
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether that was a discussion that you had, was the ability of putting both of the companies together in your thought of selling it in the future, if it had such a range of options for provision of services and the products as well, would that make it more attractive to someone to buy? Or do you think it would be better to have the 2 companies very, very focused so that you could sell one or the other?
Yeah. Well, I think that, you know, when you become known because of your business name,
Right.
it might be good, like when I retire, to sell both together.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to continue on with my practice in Ability at Work and sell off the product business, because it actually has become more of a thorn in my side than anything.
So that's really interesting. Are you
Yeah.
hearing what Etienne is saying? It's profitability or it's sales. I won't jump to profitability, but its revenues have jumped 10 times in the last year. 10
Yeah.
times. But
Yeah.
it's become a thorn in her side. So can you talk about that a little bit more? If
Um,
that's okay.
yeah. It's very time consuming. And I can't run it by myself.
Mhm.
And you need to have like a bookkeeper, a person who really knows how to be a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
And I've tried so many people, like I've gone through so many people over the years, even like even when I was trying to hire somebody when my sister-in-law was here, I had a student, well, she was finishing her accounting program at Conestoga. And like I had her working for me for 6 weeks. And then later on, we realized that she was just making a mess of everything. And yeah, like so disorganized, but she thought she knew what she was doing, right?
Uh-oh.
And all these accounting grads or bookkeepers, everybody does things differently. And over the years, when you're selling products, it's a lot more complicated. Like you've got, well, and this past year, we were selling across Canada. So now we've got all of the taxes, like the provincial taxes, and you need to charge them and you need to pay them and you need to submit them. And some of them are every month and some of them are every 3 months.
Yep.
And yeah. But what happened, to be honest, is that one of our colleagues, who you might know, had talked me into a high volume business in the fall. And she was getting a referral fee for that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Sending
like a commission.
companies your way, and then you were selling them product, and then she would get a commission basically.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah, and she talked me into it, I'm saying, because I felt like I wasn't equipped well enough to take on a high volume like that. But
And
she
you
was
did.
just looking at the dollar figures. And because I'm a type of person that, you know, is very responsible, tries to do things right, and provide good customer service, it just got way out of hand. And I had 2 more students that were working for me. One was in accounting, and so she placed all the orders. And so she was working 4 days a week, and we processed 750 orders across Canada in 3 months.
Wow.
Or like all one-off, like a chair or a height adjustable desk.
That's incredible.
And the revenue was like over 300,000.
Wow.
And and I was paying my students, and then they were finished in December. So in the beginning, all along, I was telling our colleague that it was really challenging. Like, I was just burning out because of the customer service issues. And you don't think about it, but it's crazy. Like, people want to know when their product is going to arrive. So like, I sell chairs from ErgoCentric. And so when you place a purchase order, they send you back an order acknowledgement in a few days usually. And that will give an expected shipping date. And then I know that most of the chairs that are special orders are going to take about 2 weeks for them to process and send out. Like, those are the custom orders. But these ones were already made in advance to ship out. So they were on a promotion, and they still have those chairs on a promotion right now. So ErgoCentric was great to work with, because they actually had their software person develop a program that linked our orders from our website directly to their website.
Oh, fantastic.
And so that worked out most of the time, but it kind of messed up a few times where we missed a bunch of orders because of people ordering something a little bit different. And so then it kind of messed up their system. And we didn't find out until the people let us know like 3 weeks later that they didn't get chairs.
So was there a margin enough in that business for you to do okay? Are you finding with that kind of a volume that there's stuff for you to take home at the end of the month?
Well, there wasn't. So I realized, and then I was scrambling and trying to hire people to help with the bookkeeping, so that I could get the numbers and see, you know, and to pay all those taxes for the provinces, because actually we were selling to a group that was exempt from paying PST.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so anyway, I hired 3 students in the winter. One of them spent the entire term working on the books for that business, plus another person who I hired in January was also working on it on the side, about 20 hours a week. And just now we are starting to get the numbers for the taxes.
It takes a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, to dig yourself out and get everything on straight again. Yeah.
But
so
at
you're
the same
still
time,
looking for someone to support that end of your business, a solid bookkeeper that can take that over for you, I think.
Yeah. Well, this girl is was doing bookkeeping for the company that she worked for before. So she has been good and she's been helping a lot. And
that's good.
so my winter students are finished now. The other two were working on marketing and the websites. So the new website I started developing in the summer. I turned that into the website for that large volume business. But then I started the other website for ErgoEquip and actually got some help from the Digital Main Street program, the Shop
They're
Here
fantastic.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they actually made a lot of it, and then my students helped out with it as well.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? To go in, I don't know, Darcy, if you've ever experimented with this or if anyone else has any experience hiring co-op students or interns and then trying to fit them into your business in a way that they're helpful, but you know that there's an exit strategy because they're only with you for 4 months or 8 months. So then how do you introduce them, get them up to speed, and then know how to taper them off so that someone else is ready to come in? Does anyone else have any experiences with that? Either being one or hiring one?
I had an intern this summer from the fan shop program. I don't know if you had anybody in from there, but
Yes, I have
Yeah.
2 times. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't normally go for something like that, but it was something related to COVID and these students were looking for something. So yeah, I had one and it was like 6 hours a week and I found it was very challenging. I finally stumbled upon a project to give her, but I found it was challenging just because I'm a one person show and then take a step back to see what's draining my resources, but it's not making a big impact. But since then, in January, I hired a virtual assistant that works 40 hours every week from the Philippines. So I use.
I wondered.
It's and I can. It's a big process to get. It took a long time to hire. I wanted to hire the right person. This guy's great. Pardon?
That's a good thing. Take a long time to hire.
Yeah, it took about a month to hire and to put him through the tests. But right now, it's what I can afford with my business, and it's allowing me to grow. And it's $5. Well, I started him at $4 US an hour. Wow. And now it's $5 US an hour, and he's the upper level in his country. But it's very common. All the people who I'm in masterminds with, they all have their virtual assistants, and they've been pushing me to get one for like a year. So it's been a big game changer for me.
Yeah, Betty, I think that would be. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Okay.
I think that would be something to look into for you. The other reason why is they work exactly opposite to our work days. So they could be working on your bookkeeping in Teams while you sleep. And then you wake up in the morning and they say, here's what I did. And you're like, oh my gosh, fairies were at work while I was sleeping. And then you just find the next task for them. So if you're ever thinking about starting your own business or a side project, I would highly recommend take your time and carefully have them work on isolated projects, and then watch and see how they do. I've had great luck, and I've had people that I've hired that I've stretched them just a little too far, and I've had to say, it's okay, we'll find another task for you, that's no problem, and eventually just had to move on to someone else. So it takes some time to figure out what they can do and how much they can manage, and then you find people. I've found one that's been quite remarkable, skills way beyond what I have, and so that's been really interesting as well. Now I pay her very, very well. I'm not paying her $4 or $5 an hour, but well worth it. And so people with different skills in different areas of the world can be quite rewarding. Our video editor is from Bangalore, India.
Oh yeah.
So there's this whole other virtual world that just takes, as Darcy said, some time just to figure it out.
Yeah. Do you hire them yourself, or do you do it as part of a program, because like I actually did was part of a program, like a coaching program, I guess,
Mhm.
for a year.
Oh, good.
And they were
Fantastic.
promoting their virtual assistants that they hire and train, and then they would match them to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, but did you do it on your own then, Darcy?
Oh, yeah, I did. The one site that seems to have very good results is onlinejobs.ph. And when you buy it, what you do, you buy a membership to it.
Okay.
And it's like $60 American. And once you find your virtual assistant, you shut down the membership. So you can keep it at $60 US.
Yeah.
But having that membership allows you to make a job post. And when you buy the program or the membership, you can invest another like 450 US into a course that tells you the best strategies to use to get someone. And like I did that because I wanted to make sure I was making a good investment. Is it totally necessary? I'm not sure, but I got some really good tactics. For instance, they have this like matrix of things that you're good at, only you can do, things like you're good at, but you don't want to do, things you suck at, things something else. So they say, give the things that you're good at, but you don't want to do away first because you know how to do it. And that's what I did. Sorry, my internet's unstable, sorry. But so that's what I did. And to train them, I used a combination of Loom and what's that? Project management one that's free. It's very popular.
Asana?
So yeah, no, not that one.
Monday.com.
Trello.
Mm-hmm.
I used Trello.
Okay.
Yeah, just to organize it, and Loom. So I shot videos and stored it on my Trello board. So I walked him through everything once, and then he can reference anything going forward. And we have a Slack channel too, so we can communicate all the time. We have one meeting every morning on Monday morning. So yeah, those are the tools
That's really
I
good.
use.
So you don't have any concerns.
Yeah.
You don't have any concerns about the control that you have with them working so remotely and like financially and that.
Well, I do use LastPass, so that's the password management. So this guy has administrative control to everything, like, but they don't have the password, right? So that's the way you can control it. Yeah, but you kind of have to let go of it, and I had a very hard time. It took me a year to let go of control, and once I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, he's marketing, he's posting, so I do a podcast and he makes it into a blog post, and he does all this stuff, and I'm like, I wasn't doing it. So like anything, my frame of mind, very low expectations. I'm like, anything's better than nothing. But he's very good. He's very good, and he brings points of views that. Anyway, it's very good. It's very good. So, yeah. So, I've had really good luck, and the people that are in my group, they've all gone through onlinejobs.ph, and as long as you do your due diligence, they've all had amazing results. Really happy. They're all really happy.
Yeah, really good to hear.
So you meet all the people in your mastermind group?
Yeah, just a couple of online business people that I'm friends with. We call it a mastermind. We all, trendy.
Yeah.
but yeah, they all use it. One has a couple, one has one, and then I have mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, that group that I was part of was called the Doer's Way. It was Grace Lever, and their virtual assistants were all in the Philippines as well. And but she's based in Australia, so that's kind of cool. But the thing that I don't understand is, like, my marketing company, the people that work for that company, it's based in the States supposedly, but I know that everybody is living in India that works for that company. Like, how come people who live in India can do, like, full scope of service for marketing, but you can't find anybody in Canada that will provide all the same services, you know, for a reasonable price. Like, and
Yeah.
they do it the same way. Like, it's, I don't understand like why we can't find those services locally. And, you know, and like in the Philippines, they know marketing and how to post podcasts and
Well,
social media.
I'm sure what's happening, like, that this is a common theory that I think a lot of people have, is that with you train, you hire from there, but then you train them in everything you know. So they're like little U's, and they're coming blacks, they're capable, but they just don't know the ways that you do. And
Yeah.
that's the best way. So they don't bring this other perspective in that can say, oh, they're an expert, but they not actually know. So I'm sure maybe that has a part of it. I would love to hire locally, but I can't afford it. I'm in the same boat. Like one day I want someone on Prince Edward Island to be my, to be my, maybe not that, but like to be, what's the term? Integrator.
Yeah.
Like a project manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah.
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 If you find a good one, it can be a huge help, a really huge help.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It takes time. So for Catherine and Emma, do you do any marketing or any, I guess, Emma, you're still hanging in there, but do you do any marketing or advertising or any outreach for the businesses you've been involved in?
When I had my internship, I was at a gym in downtown Toronto,
Oh,
or like a sole proprietor, but she worked in a bunch of different gyms in Toronto. And so I was helping her create or like look at other people that are like what they're doing and what they're charging, so that she had an idea of like how her services matched up.
okay.
And we did do some like content creation and stuff, but it was more focused like on her, not so much me, because it was like her first year business.
Oh,
So
wow.
she wanted to like use like my knowledge in kin, because she has like she had a marketing degree, and then she had like personal training and stuff. So
Oh,
she
great
kind of
team.
used like my kin knowledge and her like knowledge as well, but her marketing was like herself, and I was just kind of helping her with that. But yeah, I don't really have much marketing experience.
You probably have more than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 4 months, that's pretty intense. It was 4 months was your internship?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty intense to be doing that every day, all day. And the other thing is, it sounds like you were both pretty scrappy, which is great. I mean, you were really looking around at the marketplace saying, how does she show up in the world? So
Yeah, and I went
probably
around
picked
to
up a
all of
lot.
her like her classes. So she had like one-on-one or like group personal training in the morning, and then she would go home, have her breakfast. I would work on my schoolwork, and then we'd have like a lunchtime session, same thing, and then we'd go to either like a business that was like having her in for like a lunch and learn or something, or if we were doing something else, and we would go to like a class in the evening, have a bunch of like, I think it was like 20 people would come to her
Wow.
classes downtown Toronto, and then I would go home. But it was like I did that, I think 2 days a week,
Mhm.
just to kind of get like familiar with different people that came.
Mhm.
But I did take also like different days, so that I wasn't just doing like, I wasn't seeing the same people every week. So
That
was
sounds great. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was really good. I'm going to her virtual gym now. So she's been in business for 5 years, and they've like steadily grown. She has a staff now, so that's cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. So you helped her right on the ground floor. That's pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. That was a great story. I'm glad you shared that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's great. How about you, Catherine? Do you have any experience with the startup, with your startup actually in the kin world now?
To be honest, not really too much. I like sometimes help out around the clinic with like just the emails that we put out, and like right now I'm working on a blog post for the clinic blog, but I haven't really done too much. The whole staff tries to chip in with like ideas and how we can like promote the clinic and topics to cover in the blog and things like that. But yeah, to be honest, I haven't really done too much. So
You probably picked up a lot as well, just talking about strategy with the various clinicians that are at work.
Yeah. Which clinic are you working for, Catherine? Oh, she froze.
I think you froze.
Move.
Yeah, you might know the clinic, Betty Ann, that she's at.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Some of the newer ones I haven't heard of, but
Mhm.
I've been around a long time.
This is what I'm finding is that social media is a full-time job, right?
It is, yeah.
Full-time job. And then you have your own clients, perhaps your own thing that you do clinically or in, oh, she hopped off, or in the ergonomics, health and safety world. And then you have the bookkeeping and, just the day-to-day running and administration of the business. So there's a lot of different layers there. And then it's helpful to have someone who has that aerial view of everything. And for me, that's been our bookkeeper. And she said, here's where you are month to month. Here's when you need to file this, and here's what you need to put in your savings account. And so that's been really helpful, where she really kind of directs things that way. And then the interns that we had from Western working with us have been really instrumental in not trying to, but kind of redirecting our social media. So that's been a bit of a beast to try and get organized and get going. And we're going to bring those three on as consultants for us, because they are already in the groove. So to bring in new students and train them, it would take us a while to get up to speed.
Yeah.
And these three are brand new grads, and it'll be interesting to see, after working with us for 4 to 8 months, what they decide to do, whether they decide to become kins or go off to, one's talking about writing her MCATs. Yep. So it's interesting to watch them, because they, like Emma and like Catherine, are very new to kinesiology. So their perspective as our ideal client group has been very interesting. How do they see kinesiology? What's interesting to them in terms of a blog or various social media posts? What do they want to see? What catches their eye? So it's very different doing that from 25 to 30 years out versus someone who's still in it and just finishing. So that's been very, very helpful as well. And then we do have someone in the Philippines who's helping to direct them.
Oh, okay.
So strategizing with them. So it's been interesting to put together this team that's kind of come together, and it's fun to watch. It's really, really interesting to watch. And then sometimes I have to learn to step out of the way, and other times they're saying, "Come on, Angela, you've got a deadline. How are you doing with that?" So it's good.
Yeah.
Fun. I enjoy it. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I wanted to ask you about is for several years now, like I've been planning this for years, but I just get too busy to do anything with it. Is like, I feel that there's great opportunities for kinesiologists in return to work and disability management. But we don't, like other kinesiologists don't know what skills we have that you can use in that field, and then how to use those skills, and what can we do within disability management. Like there's a lot of services that we can provide, and like for employers, insurance, the WSIB, and rehab companies. And so I wanted to start teaching courses on that topic, like to teach new grads or any kins or OTs even who are interested in like how to use your skills in ergonomics and assessment, like functional abilities assessments, and physical demands analyses, cognitive demands analyses, how you put it all together so that you can help employers to accommodate their workers who, you know, might have an injury or had a health condition, and you're trying to bring them back to work. And I know that there's a need for it because the disability management field is growing, and there's always job postings for, you know, disability management consultants or coordinators or whatever to work directly for companies. But you know, and I would gladly take on one of these jobs, but they're usually full-time, and I don't know how I could work in a full-time job now at this time in my life. And and
you
it would
don't
be
have to
really,
work 8:30 to 4:30. How does that go?
well, I think it would be easier, but then it would be hard for me to give up my business too, right? Because people know that I'm here and they'll still phone, and I would need somebody else to take it over before I could do anything else.
Right, right.
But, you know, and
Darcy could probably, Darcy could probably speak to this because, yeah.
Well, like you, Betty Ann, I actually did some disability management. I worked at Western. I was doing the disability management for 1 year.
okay.
I thought it'd be so cool, like, I'll combine ergonomics to this, but you know, disability management just sucks your time. But then I moved into the ergonomics role there. But yeah. The thing that I think that this would be such an interesting perspective. My background, I teach other healthcare professionals. I was talking to Kevin last week, and he offers
Kevin
like the
here?
PD. Yes.
Kevin? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he does. It was so cool. Like all these people, I don't know.
We all know each other.
Like you, right? So I thought there was such a good match because just for my people, ergonomics is just one side, and
Yeah.
I find you almost need all these revenue streams. So that's how you could market it. Like you have ergonomics, but sometimes office ergonomics doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
Or industrial ergonomics, but
Yeah.
PDAs, and maybe we could connect in the future, but like PDAs and disability management. My only question that's coming up is that I tend to see the shift for specific certification. I don't know if it's gold standard, like, you know, like the ergonomics world, everyone can call themselves an ergonomist, but I'm just curious whether or not this would be in addition to that disability management to have like a real in-depth perspective of how to use ergonomics, or if this would be something totally different. Like as a kinesiologist, you have the skills to do disability management and you don't need that specific certification or whatever it is that I see.
It would not really involve a certification.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? That certified disability management. That's a, you know, have you heard that?
Well, there isn't really a certification yet, but they're trying. So there's the NIDMAR program, and then they have their 6-hour, I guess, assessment to determine, well, like the big test that you have to write. But they also want you to take all of their courses, but you can write the test without taking their courses. I actually just, so like most of my, my, I guess, qualifications or training that I've received in the field of disability management return to work has been through the vocational rehabilitation avenue. So I've been a member of the Voc Rehab Association of Canada since 2002. And then they started the College of Vocational Rehab Professionals. And I was certified with them for a while. And then I thought just having my kin registration was enough. But last year they started a new designation called Return to Work Disability Manager. And it does really match my skills. And so I was grandfathered to that. But then this year I was deciding whether to continue paying that for that designation, because it's just something else that I'm paying for. And I don't think it's really recognized yet. But the way that I would approach courses is like being able to combine the skills that we have, like doing functional abilities evaluations to determine like what the worker's abilities and limitations are, and then knowing the physical demands of the job, and then determining how to accommodate them, and using ergonomics as well as other methods to accommodate them. So, and then there's the rehab component as well, that you can make recommendations for, you know, like some kind of rehab program that might be helpful.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. It sounds really great. I only have one piece of advice that I know, because I've developed courses and memberships before. And this was the absolute game changer for me when I learned this. It was to sell your idea before you make it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Monetize before you make it.
Don't put the time in until you know there's a demand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did that for my membership. And I'm like, this is my painting, this is what you'll get, blah, blah, blah. And my membership is like how to market ergonomics. So I said, I'm looking for just 5 people. You're going to have the lowest rate ever, and you'll be having this forever. But we'll meet in such and such states, and we're going to do live training. So you'll compile the information, live trainings. You can direct the future based on this and ask me questions. So you'll have a lot of control in the design of this program. And when you market it like
That's
that, like you
Yeah.
prove the idea, right? And then you can scale it after that.
Yeah.
You know, people want it. And even just one person, that's all you need. You don't need 5 or 10 or 20. You just need one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. And that's actually what Grace Lever was saying in her course on developing courses as well.
Yeah.
To start off with your idea and like develop the course as you go, but and start off with more of an introductory course, like to generate the interest, and then to get deeper and deeper as you go as well.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm sure Angela would agree. It's really fun to develop courses. It's so much fun because it's like you get to go in your wheelhouse and develop all these things and like think of the future. And then I find the real work happens when the course is done, and then you have to figure out how to sell the damn thing.
Yeah.
And like that's a whole nother world.
The hard
Yeah.
part. Hey,
Yeah. That's fun. I would just develop courses all the time if I could, but it's like, yeah, sell the damn thing.
That's where Elise and I really enjoy, is the writing the courses, the teaching the courses. That's a lot of fun. But then you do need a team that can actually get it out there, and that could be another group with a very different skill set than yours. And so you could happily read research and write course material all the time, develop all kinds of different lead magnets to attract people's attention. That part's the fun part. Doing things like these meetups or podcasts to just talk about ideas and generate interest. But then the rubber has to hit the road, and you have to actually find people who are willing to part with their money. And have you been able to articulate exactly the value that you're offering and how you're going to impact their lives after they've taken your course? So what are they going to be able to do to monetize the knowledge that you bring to them at the end of the day is really what they're interested in.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that, Darcy? Like, do you feel like you're always reaching out to newer groups, or that you need to offer more variety in your courses, or is it better just to be more specific and stick to like a smaller target, like a smaller niche and a smaller target market?
Ooh, those are all good points. I know Angela I probably can speak to all this too.
Oh, you go ahead.
Well, I think the shift happens. So once you develop the course, that's the course. Like you're probably not going to make it, don't even touch it for a long time, because that can just suck you in. And I believe that 90% of your time should be just marketing the crap out of that. So there's so many different ways to market it.
Yeah.
Angela was mentioning she does content marketing with landing pages and podcasts. That it's all part of organic marketing and that type of thing is for the long haul, and it can take a really long time, but you'll always get leads. And then you can do paid marketing, you know, through Facebook ads are very popular, and Google search and LinkedIn. There's so many ways that you can market, but like the fundamentals, of course, is an email list. I think I talked about this last time too. But and then when it comes to launching it, you can do like evergreen. And evergreen is something that I used to use with I used EverWebinar to let people know that like they thought it was, no one thinks, everyone knows it's a recorded webinar, but like sometimes if it's your first time looking at a webinar, you're like, oh well, this is live just for me. I'm going to ask lots of questions. I know I was duped before, and then you get a series of emails to sell, and you get the offer. What I'm doing right now, I find it a lot less stressful, and I've just shifted to this is quarterly launches for my program. So the end of every quarter, I do a 3-video series, and there's so many different ways. There's challenges, but it's exciting, but it can get overwhelming. So it's just kind of the easiest one is just webinar to sell, or content marketing. You just need to email, make an offer out there, tell your people, network. That's it. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just find this stuff so interesting, don't you? It's just so, there's always like, messaging and refining your offer and doing the research. It's really interesting, but definitely you want to scope niche down too. Niche down. You mentioned niches, and you want to, you know, just pick a, you know, that saying, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one.
Yeah.
It's tough to be really, really disciplined to say, this is exactly who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And you can't talk to anybody else. You have to talk to only that sliver of people consistently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, and it's, as Darcy was saying, that's totally outside your course content. It's all the work around it, which is an incredible amount of knowledge to have outside of your field. So there's tons of people from across all kinds of industries that are now honing their skills and being able to do this. And we see it all the time, because if you're online, you're participating in a lot of these challenges and launches and watching how it's done, and you think, this is amazing. And it's, you know, it's valuable information. You're happy to pay for it, and learning lots of great things from it. But there's a huge area in our industry that isn't being tapped: ergonomics, disability management. So there's a lot of possibility there. And so, Betty Ann, you're seeing Kevin Cairns and Darcy and lots of people around that are doing it now, and there's more out there. So that might be a topic for a future meetup that we do. Actually say, okay, if you're a course creator, or if you have a product to create. We had 11 people in our second 90-day clinical business blueprint, and out of those 11, I think 7 of them had a product to launch. And I was like, wait a minute, this was not the intention of this program. This was supposed to be how to actually start your kin business. And they're like, yeah, okay, but teach us how to do this stuff. So this is what they really want to know, is how to get in front of their own client base with their own message, and what are all the different ways that they could do that. So that was really surprising for me, that that's the direction they wanted to go in. So we'll go in that direction. That's where we're going to go. So it was fun. It's really interesting. I am going to wrap this up, guys.
Okay.
I know we could talk for another hour or more about it, and we'll come back to this again. I want to thank all of you for your candor and your contribution, because these discussions are really, really helpful for people participating this evening, and then of course other people that'll watch this later. And be prepared for others to reach out to you to say, hey, I heard you talking on, and I'd really like your opinion on. And that's where things get to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Betty Ann, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on board and talking about your challenges, because I think kins do need to hear about all the ups and the downs as they move through their career.
Mhm.
And thanks to all of you for spending an hour with us ish.
Yeah. Thank you very much for organizing this and inviting me, Angela.
Of course. Of
Thank
course.
you. That was
Great to
fun.
meet you, Darcy and
Thanks,
Emma.
guys.
We'll have to connect offline.
Absolutely.
Sounds
See you
good.
again soon.
Great. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.